Welcome to the Bearded Finisher Podcast, your one-stop show for all things finishing and coatings. Your host, Zach, and a variety of industry experts will guide you through the art of perfecting your finishing and business game. From seasoned pros to fresh faces, get ready for tips, tricks, and trends to elevate your knowledge and business to the next level.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are here this week sitting down on a Thursday morning, and we're talking to Mr. Bret Johnson. Bret is the technical director for Superfici?
Lab manager.
Lab manager, Superfici. He's over in Concord, North Carolina.
Yep.
If you listen to this show and you don't know who Superfici is, you've definitely been under a rock for, I don't know, 10 years plus. Make some
20.
killer, 20. Yeah, probably. Make some awesome inline, some flatline equipment. What's going on, Bret?
Not much, man. It's just good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm glad we were
Pleasure to be
able to
on.
get on. It was really awesome meeting and getting to see you guys all at AWFS.
Yep. Yeah, that was awesome, man. It was good to meet you.
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah,
show, and
booth.
you guys were like busy constantly. I mean, running coatings every single day.
Yeah, we were busy. We had a good turnout. I think overall the shows seemed to be a little slower than usual.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that being considered, I mean it was pretty consistent in our booth. And like you said, we sprayed a different coating each day. Building those relationships.
What I've always
with coating
wondered
suppliers.
is, do you guys have to get any sort of special permit? I mean, I know you're usually, I've never seen anybody run insolvent at those shows, but like,
No.
do you guys have to apply for anything, or do they have to do any testing to allow you guys to run at the shows?
Yeah, so it's got to be all one component water base, and then we've
Okay.
got to send them the data sheets ahead of time, and they've got to approve it. So, I mean, I had one time where I ran the same coatings 2 years in a row, and I sent them the same data sheet I'd sent them the year before, and they tried to deny me. I'm like, it's literally the same exact thing we did last year, and they're like, oh, okay, it's fine, yeah, you're good.
So it's all union. So is it like,
Right.
I mean, but trying to think of how to put this. Love AWFS, great organization, but they're not really reviewing it. TDSs are. They don't really know. It has to be somebody with somebody there in
Right.
Vegas. Is that what it is?
Right. They're sending it down the line. I'm not sure exactly who it is. I can't remember off the top of my head what their title is or who it gets to. But yeah, they tried to deny it at one point, and they got sent up the chain or down the chain or somewhere. I don't know. But they finally approved it. But yeah, it was a plain 1K waterborne, because we can't exhaust anywhere. We're literally exhausting into the convention
Yeah.
center.
So yeah, that's always been, when I first went to one of those shows, man, it's been pre-COVID, I think was my first one. But I mean, always that was the first thing that always got me was, how are they running coatings? But I've never really paid attention to that it's always a 1K. I just assumed that you guys would run some 2Ks, but that makes a lot of sense. They won't let you run those.
Right. Yeah. They're not letting us run UV. They're not letting us run, nothing cool. No
Yeah,
2K
none of the cool
urethanes,
stuff.
anything like that. Yeah. So then you always got the paint guys going, well, this is just our 1K water, but you should really see this. And then they give them the litany of stuff they got.
Then you got all the guys there that are used to 2K. They're like, oh, never mind. I'm going to keep going. UVs seem to be exploding, I would say, in the last 2, maybe 3 years. Like the on-site UVs with the lamps, even the water-based UVs, the 100 solid UVs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a push in the European market to get more UVs out there? Because it just seems here recently that they've been everybody wants to know about them in the US.
I don't know if it's so much pushed by the European market. I think it may be pushed more by the American market and the desire to speed up production and to pack and ship stuff immediately. I mean, we've done a number of tests where companies are even trying to push the envelope with non-UV coatings. They're wanting to come right off the end of the line. They're wanting to stack. They're wanting to wrap it. They're wanting to ship it, right? And traditionally, the only way to do that is a 100% solids UV coating, or some sort of UV coating, not 100% solids specifically, water UV as well. But also, to that point, the water UVs have come a long way in their quality. Like I said, probably the past 5 years, especially past few years. I mean, I know of a couple cabinet shops that are putting a water-based UV on cabinets, which would have been absolutely unheard of, you know, 5 years ago.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Well, what's funny to me is my
but I mean, there's some
father-in-law
good
came
stuff
up.
that doesn't look like UV.
Yeah, my father-in-law, I mean, he got out of college and worked for a painter during the day and did his own projects at night, and he's 74 this year, 73, but and so and he did that right out of college. So he grew up, mentored me a lot in this business, and still today, when I first got into it, it was always a pre-cat or satin impervo. We don't screw with water base, it's all trash. And now
Right. Yeah.
for him to be in his 70s and he sees the technology of water base, like he'll feel something and he'll be like,
Is he
"That's
liking
not
it now?
water." He's like, "There's no way
Okay.
that's water." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's
He's
water." And
coming
he's like, "I
around.
don't believe you."
Yeah.
Because you come to the days of
All right.
I'm trying to think what was really hot when he used to say it was, man, Ben Moore owns them now, had an
Linmar?
acrylic enamel. No, it wasn't Lenmar. It was like a Tough Shields or something like that. It was an acrylic
Okay.
latex enamel,
All
and
right.
that was what he was used to using, even spraying. It was either pre-cat, and if you wanted really good, it was CV. I mean, his favorite was always Satin and Pervo. That was, hands down the best of the best. But I think it was
Yeah.
called Tough Shield or something. I'll have to Google it here, and we jump on a break. I'll Google it because that's just going to drive me crazy. Or if
Yeah.
I just
All right.
shout out a random product here in the middle of your conversation, just know that I'm referencing
No, it's
back to what I forgot.
no, you're good, man. We'll do the weave.
So, that was always interesting. So seeing the technology, he is definitely like, this is crazy. The amount of
Yeah.
water-based technology. And I was talking to a couple of companies, coatings companies that I've known for a long time, distributors here in the US, and found it very interesting that a particular one, they, well, the Hartleys, Scott and Stephanie, love them,
Oh,
known
yeah.
them for a long time.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
great.
they used to be distributors of a Centurion when they first got into distribution. And then they wanted a solvent 2K. Scott wanted a solvent 2K forever. And he was just, you guys need one. You guys need one. We're like, there's just, get it, but we can't do it as good as the Italians. And there's just not enough demand for it. So they brought in Igaro for that to get their solvent 2Ks in. And I was talking to him at the show, first time we really sat down and talked for a while. And he was like, "Oh yeah, like that was the whole first year, and we're done. I think this year we're not bringing any more solvent. It's just water." Like it
Really.
has gotten so much better and
Mhm.
so prevalent in the US market. I mean, that seems to be more and more of those European companies. They don't want to mess with, I mean, one, you got to deal with the tariffs and the hazmat and all that crap of getting a container over here. And I don't know that the water-based 2Ks won't outperform the solvent-based 2Ks right now. And I'm a solvent guy. I love solvent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody and yeah, the Italians, they've kinda got a hold on it right now, and
Yeah.
everybody's got good stuff, and everybody's got, you know, a good guy that's, can dial it in, and that's really part of it too, is having the tech on the coding side. Like, Scott's a great example of somebody that can just come in and go, "Okay, well, it's just not, let me reduce it, 3%, and then we'll try it again," as opposed to, going down a rabbit hole chasing things with our equipment. He's a great example. He'll be like, "Let me adjust my coding real quick," and
Yeah. Well, what's interesting
great
is
working with people like that.
talking to some of these guys out there. I had a European company reach out to me for some consulting because they're thinking about coming into the US market. And we're talking about coatings and I kind of learned some of this from Jacob over at Civum, but
Mm,
when I had him on the
good dude.
show, but what's interesting is in Europe, I tell guys this and they're like, that just seems weird. There's a ton of manufacturers and they like you work for cabinet company A and you wanted it X viscosity. Great. Cabinet company B wants a Y viscosity. Instead of selling reducers in Europe, it's just a whole nother coating.
Right.
Like it's
Yep.
just a different product number,
Mhm.
different converter bases instead of saying, "Oh, here's a reducer or here's a thickener." And a lot of them, and that's what I was telling this other company, I was like, when you come over here, one thing you're going to find out, 80% of the people want to spray it out of the bucket. And then you've got 10 that want it thicker and 10 that want it thinner. but they don't want to buy a different product, and your distributors don't want to stock a different product. So you kind of have to shift your manufacturing style into fit the US market. I mean, would you agree with that, or would you think it's a little different?
No, I agree with that. I think it's, like you said, a lot of folks want to just get it right out of the bucket and go. But then, and what I noticed too, like you said, even in America, like the bigger companies specifically, like the bigger end users, they will have their own product codes. They'll have their own, like you said, maybe their own catalyst that's reduced already, or
Yeah.
it's, the base is reduced, however they want to do it, and they'll give it another product code. Its own
Yeah.
label, and all it is just a different viscosity, but the same product that they're using down the street. And that can get confusing for me in here because I'm reading this product for this customer, and it's like, wait a minute, everything seems exactly the same as another product you've used from that company, but it's a different code, and you're like, this is the same stuff, ain't it? You're just relabeling it for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are just
But
screwing with
yeah,
it. Yeah. I could see that
yeah,
really being a pain in the ass on your side when you're trying to dial in a coding and you get a whole new, I mean, it's like
yeah.
these big OEM
Well,
cabinet guys, it's just got to be almost the same TDS. So you just run a whiteboard that says all of these are similar and all of these are similar. So here's your starting
we've
formula
got
and
a
tweak it from
database
there.
of all of our stuff, right? But then it's like, if you put the product code in there and then I search it by product code, it's like, it's never going to be the same. So, but if I search it by Sherwin-Williams, I'm going to have 10,000 of them in there. So not to call anybody out, but they
You
are the
know,
biggest.
they are the big
Oh,
monster and
those
they've got
guys, those are good.
so many products and they just keep buying. I mean, that's the
Yep.
crazy part. I mean, they just keep getting
Gobbling them
bigger
up.
and bigger. It's nuts. So,
Yep.
well, let's
They
kind
need
of
it.
jump in a
Go
little
ahead,
bit, and I want to talk about. Sorry, I want to talk about you. I mean, how you got into
man.
the industry. Did you grow up painting? Family into the service trades? Like, I mean, is it more your technical background? Just kind of give us a rundown where you grew up and how you got here.
Okay. Well, it's funny we just said Sherwin-Williams. That's because it happened kind of all by chance from a part-time job I had as a teenager at a Sherwin retail paint store. Part-time job, helping old ladies pick out paint colors and just shaking up paint and stocking shelves. Led to a job when I was about 20 at a local coatings distributor. It's like, oh, there's a job at a coatings distributor. I've worked at a
Okay.
paint store. Let's apply. So that's where I really got started, about 20 years old, cutting my teeth at a
And
local distributor.
by your accent, I'm going to say it's in the South, but where'd you grow
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
at?
So I grew
That's
up
all
in
right.
a town called Shelby, North Carolina. It's
Okay.
right at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So, and then and that's where that Sherwin store was, in Shelby, right off
Yeah.
Highway 74 there. And, but yeah, right around when I was about 20, I moved to Charlotte and got at this job at a place called Hunter Coatings, and they're a local distributor here.
I know them
Back
very
then,
well.
we were selling. Do you? I
Yeah, I know
I
him.
used to
I've been
work
to a
for,
couple of their pro shows.
Andy?
Andy, yeah, I know Andy. He was in
That's my
Atlanta
dude.
2 years ago, and we talked for a good
He
30
was.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my mentors in this business, man. He
Dude,
taught me a
he's
lot early on yeah, he's super smart. He came from the corporate side. He worked, I think, Husqvarna, and right when I started there, he had just bought the business. And in the short time before I got there, he had already I'm going to learn this industry. He just looked for a business to buy, and then he bought it, and then he's like, I'm going to learn this industry. And in the time between when he bought it and when I got there, I don't know, it could have been a year or less. He learned his coatings inside and out, and he was really the local expert around town to go to. So, yeah, I worked there, learned a lot about coatings from him. Did a lot of color matching back then. Just on the bench, matching colors, matching different furniture finishes, cabinet
yeah.
finishes.
Now it's all coming back around to
Dude, yeah,
what I
stains are
like to
back.
call in this industry of 6 degrees of Michael Smith.
I thought you were gonna say Michael Scott, but you said Michael Smith. Oh, that's great, dude.
I
We're
mean,
just
it
name
seems like
dropping
he
everybody
knows
today.
everyone in the industry. Now I'm like, Hunter
Yeah, man.
Coatings, okay, Malace, okay, now
Yeah,
it's all coming around. I think that's gonna be a new
oh man,
game we should start in the painting industry.
dude. And I worked with him at the place that I worked at after I left Hunter. So we actually were coworkers there at a place called Webdon in Charlotte.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
after
what was
Hunter, I went to a
Webdon?
place
Was it
called Webdon.
Okay.
They were a coatings distributor as well. They had 6 branches across, Tennessee, North South Carolina. So, yeah, just distributing coatings out of the Charlotte branch. We did all the color matching and mixing basically, and we'd put it on shuttles twice a week to those branches, and then from there, it would go to the end users. But then they also had a cabinet company where they were importing from China. They had 90% of the time, it was
Thermofoil
UV coating that
pre-finished.
was on there. Yep. Sand them down and put 1 coat of conversion varnish on them, send them back out the door.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an
So
interesting process, but
so
did that for a
are
long
they
time.
still around?
They are still around. They're not in the coatings anymore.
Okay.
So I think they still have the cabinet business on a Heartwood cabinetry, what it was called. But yeah, they're not in the coatings game anymore. But when I went there, it was we were doing well, it was Valspar when I first went there.
Okay. Okay.
And then I was there during when Sherwin again bought Valspar,
Valspar wood.
right? They saw off the wood coatings to
Yep.
Exalta, right? So then it turned to
Yep.
Exalta. But yeah, and there, what else did we do? On the coating side, we did Malaysia as well. So
And then how long
yeah,
were
I
you
worked with
there with
Mike there.
Michael?
Oh, I was well, we worked together. I don't know, man. We probably together there for 2 years, but I think I was at WebDon for 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Okay.
But we had, so I worked I kind of helped run some of the finishing stuff, and then worked in the lab, and then helped run the lab, and then when I started, I was kind of the bottom guy on the totem pole, and by the time I left, all those guys were gone, and I was the only one left. So it's wore a bunch of different hats towards the end, but it was good for me, man. I learned a ton, kind of, So I've kind of worked in all the various aspects of the industry, and the only thing I was missing was, the automation side of it, the equipment side.
So
And
what
that's what I've
year
been
did
getting
you
here for the
go
past few
to
years.
Superfici?
2018. So
2018?
it's
So
been
you've been there
seven and a
for
half years.
okay. Okay. Did you
Yeah,
start on the sales or the
7 years.
technical side over there?
I started right in the lab. So
Right in the lab?
yeah, just working in the lab. I was basically a lab tech, and a couple years later, became lab manager, and yeah, been doing that ever since, man. And we've
That's
been
pretty
growing.
awesome.
We're about to do another expansion right now, where we're gonna bring in big Cartesian robot, and it's gonna take up a big chunk of the back room back here of the lab. So
That is
a
awesome. I would
renovation
say
going on now.
when I got into the manufacturing side, it was very eye-opening. I was just talking to gosh, I just brain farted. I don't know, I think I was talking to Josh, or no, it was Denny. Denny and I were talking. I interviewed Denny Jans again this week. He came back on since he got into the new role over at Surf Prep and went from the finishing side to the OEM side, the manufacturer side, like I did, getting his take on that. And we were kind of talking about how when you go to the other side as a finisher, you get eye open to some things. I would say
Hmm.
that was one of my favorite parts about going to the manufacturing side is you get to see behind the scenes, see how the robots are made, or see how the sausage is made in the coatings world, which to me is mind blowing in itself. And you get
Right.
something in totes and in paper bags and then turn it into a paint. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
But on the automation side, do you get not automation, but on the equipment side, do you guys manufacture there in North Carolina, or is most all that done over in Europe?
Yeah, most of it's done in Europe, in Italy. So, and then we bring it over here. We've
Then you
got
bring it.
some molding stuff that we go ahead.
Oh no, no, you're fine. Go for it.
We have a small portion of some molding stuff that we'll bring in from a partner in Brazil as well, but most of it's from Italy.
Okay, and then you just store it there. Do you guys do like maintenance and work on them there? And like, how big is the facility there in North Carolina?
Yeah, it's 70,000 square feet, I think.
Oh, that's a
And then
big.
we've got yeah, and then we've yeah, so we store machines here. We have a lot of machines in stock. Try to keep good stock on stuff, that way folks don't have to wait for it to come all the way from Italy. Can't keep everything, but keep the hot items here. The small standalone sprayers, ovens, things like that. And then
I was
our
about to
offices are
say,
here, and then our
yeah.
lab is here.
Okay, the lab was always that whole squirrel that I kind of jumped and forgot about that I was chasing a minute ago was
Yeah.
my funnest days were when one of the partners, Miles, would always be like, "Hey, I need some help in the lab today. Zach, can you come play with some coatings or help us do some stuff
Mhm.
in the lab? I need you to do this, do that, spray this out, see what vertical hang you." I mean, just to me, just hanging out in the lab. I mean, the guys that were in the lab were always fun as shit. You didn't have to deal with customers.
Mm.
There's always some
Right.
good music playing, and you just kinda got to goof off and play with coding. So it was like, "All right, I can get used to this. I think this is a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
fun."
Yep, yep, and that's the world I come from, the coding side and the lab side on that, and then in here, it's, you can probably see a lot of it behind me. I lean out of
Yeah.
the way, but it doubles as our showroom and a demonstration room, so yeah, we half the time we've got customers in here, and we're running their products on their substrates, dialing in, dry schedules, trying to figure out what we're gonna quote them, letting them see the machines in action. But like you said, my favorite days are the ones where it's like no customers. As much as I like meeting new people, I'm a people person, but I like getting in here on days like it's a Friday or a Monday and there's nobody in
Yeah.
here, and I'm just running a dry schedule by myself or with Brian Mitchell. He's our lead lab tech out here, and just hanging out with the guys and figuring stuff out. That's the funnest part for me.
Yeah, I would agree. That was always the fun part when you're like, "Hey, this isn't setting at 4 mils," yelling across there, and he's like, "All right, bring it over here." Brings you a little test tube and puts something in there on a scale. He goes, "Okay, try it now." And you're like, "What the heck did you just do?" He's like, "Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Put a little bit of the secret
and ours
sauce
is
in it."
cool. The cool part about being here too is we get to see everybody's coatings, right? So I'm not just working with one product. I'm working with all these different products, and then I'm always trying to push them to their limits. Really, right? We're try to break the coating and then
Yes,
back
then
off
work
10%, and
backwards.
that's where we're going to run production. But you want to see what it can do, and then the coating guys have fun too, coming in here and like, all right, let's
Yeah.
not do any flash. Let's
I
go
mean, I can
straight
see any
into the
chemist.
infrared and see what
Yeah,
happens.
going. I mean, that's like a chemist's best, I wanna say wet dream, but a coatings chemist's wet
Let it
dream,
rip.
just to
That's
come
what it
in and
is.
tear it up. I mean, I was telling Denny, I was like, "Man, my favorite days were if Miles or somebody would give me something in a tube or in a little bucket that he was playing with. 'Hey, I wanna play with this. Go put it over some red dye and see what it does,' or, 'Alright, this is my first formulation. Just break it and tell me when it
Hmm.
breaks.'" Yes, let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
have some
When you
fun.
have no idea where to even start, that's fun. You're like, let's go to the end,
Yeah.
and we'll come back.
Let's go to the end and see where it goes. And then you get
Yeah,
really psyched up. And, that was funny
and
to me
half the
is he'd
time you
always
don't
have,
break it there, and you're like, oh wow,
I know. And then the lab tech comes in and he's like, he may go talk to the chemist. And we had one and he'd come in and be like, "Zach pushed it pretty hard. I think it might be too good. We need to dial it back a little bit."
right,
When they made it, when they make it too bulletproof, you're like, "We got to recode
right,
stuff and sell more paint. So let's bring it back."
right. Eventually, they need to paint it again, or a lot of times we'll figure out stuff by just messing up. You'll forget and like you'll forget to turn the oven down, or you'll forget to like do something. You'll put on twice as much film as you want, or you'll be like, well, it dry graded 8 wet mills, and who knew that? Now you know. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my
You
idiocy.
have the oven too hot or your flash time too low. You're like, "Hey
Oh,
man,
all
we
the
just
time.
flashed
Yeah,
it for 30 seconds."
you're going a million different directions. You're like, well, that didn't even go through the first oven. It went straight into the second one, and it did just fine. So we saved you 70 grand. You don't need that oven now.
Yeah. And
And the
then
sales guy's mad.
the sales guy's like kicking you under that. "Stop it, stop it. No,
Yeah,
we
you're
need
like,
it." What about like, do you guys do, and I want to say I've seen it on social media where you guys do almost like, I don't know if it's a monthly or a quarterly, like open doors where anybody can come in. Are you guys doing something like that?
yeah, we're doing it. We're calling it coding connections. We're trying to just kind of set aside time for these coding companies to come in, but it won't be more like an open door, but it's kind of like we plan it ahead of time. We get them in, they can bring their distributors in.
Okay.
We can just get to know each other, spend a few days with them, and we can dedicate that to just them. We'll run their products. Maybe we'll run water on the first day, we'll run solvent on the second day, and we'll just get to know each other, get to know the products, get them comfortable with our equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way they've too got a baseline of, what will their products do in automation? What will it do, in an oven? How can we push it? What are the settings that we need? What tips do we need when we're spraying on a flat line for this product and that product? We can, you know, set SOPs. We can give them lab reports with, all the data for their coatings, and how they ran. It's great, and then it's good just building those relationships and getting to know people because it's a small industry, and you're gonna see them again soon, and it's good to know who you're talking to and
One way or another,
dealing
you're
with
gonna run into them again. I mean,
for sure. Yeah, for
and
good or
then do you
bad.
guys
No.
charge for that, or is that you guys are just that's just the way you guys are building the rapport and just come in and let's turn it on and have fun?
Yeah, we're not charging for lab time. I mean, people are covering their own expenses to get down here. But I mean, if we go to dinner, we'll buy folks dinner. We'll bring in lunch to do, you know, so it's a
That's
kind of a
pretty
shared
awesome.
expense type thing. But yeah, we're not charging for lab time. We're setting it aside. We'll book them, a couple months in advance, and that way the lab's blocked off. And so, and then a lot of times too, they'll have something in their mind. Well, I've got this one customer that has your equipment that's running this product, and they're having this issue.
Yeah.
So then we kind of we're always going on side quests on those. That's the problem is when we get 10 or 20 people in here is keeping everybody on the same path and not going off on 20 side quests.
Yeah, somebody's like, "Hey,
That
look, there's a
happens.
squirrel. I wanna go chase this
That
guy."
happens. Yep. You're like, I got one guy that uses this one product that has this one thing, and then we're off doing that, and 19 people are standing there going, okay, let's come back.
Bring it back around. Come on.
But man, that's fun too. It's fun. I mean, that's kind of an in between where like you're having a bunch of people in here, but there's not much pressure because there's no customer here. There's no there's no great result you're trying to achieve. You're just working together through it to try to, figure stuff out.
That sounds pretty cool. Well, hey, let's take a quick break, refresh
All right.
coffee, get drinks,
Yeah,
and when
man.
we come back, I wanna dig into which I know a lot of the guys, and I'll check my messages because I told people to shoot me some questions, see what they got. But I wanna dive into some of the equipment, like point of entry for guys, what would be good as
Mhm.
far as, different types of equipment. Do we really need ovens? Real flash
Yeah.
time. If you
Okay.
just how much time can primer just having one for primer save you? Things like that. So the guys out there that are
Yeah,
maybe thinking, I'm tired of finding new painters every 6 months. Let's try to automate it a little bit. Would maybe catch their
for
eye.
sure.
All
Yeah,
right,
man.
we'll be right
Absolutely.
back.
Let's
Let's
do it.
grab refreshers and then we'll jump back in. All right, now we'll give him a minute. Hang on. I want to see. It's like sometimes I get people that'll ask him this, ask him this. It's all over the
Nice.
place. Anything that you want to hit on when we come back, when we start talking about equipment or anything you don't want me to ask about?
Nah, man. Oh, that's
Okay.
good what you said. I mean, and I'll say this, but I mean, it's all the small guys that are automating now. So it's good to tell them what they, might
Yeah.
need to know, to help them out
I mean,
get
right
started.
before I sold my business, I was out there with Gemini and that I was probably 3 months from pulling a mini, like a Superfici mini.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah, man.
had pricing, was working on
Really
financing, talking to the bank, and then I ended up
nice,
selling the company. But yeah, I mean,
man.
and I had 6 guys, so I wasn't huge, but the shop was the bottleneck. I mean, that was the biggest bottleneck, people wanting primed and white
Yeah.
cabinets when all that white was a giant pain in the ass.
That's all it was for 10 years, man. A little bit of
So annoying.
gray, all white. Stains are coming back though. I think it seems that.
Stains are, I mean, I've noticed them coming back. I mean, which is good. I'm so sick of painted
Long as,
cabinets.
yeah. Long as
I
we don't have
mean,
to beat the crap out of doors anymore. As long as we're not distressing them. We can just
yeah,
stain them,
well, that would be a pain, but yeah,
beat them with
just
a
staying
chain.
clear or just clear, but yeah, I remember doing those distressed cabinets with chains and wire brushes.
Awful, man.
Man,
I got
well,
this
I mean,
big
the
ring of
paint
keys that I've dangle on the thing.
I had another guy that had some, like, chisels. He had, like, a wire that had a chain on it, and he would just beat it, and then he had a wire brush, and then he had, like, a chisel where he
Yeah.
would go knock stuff out. Those
Are those
antique
brass knuckles, dude?
yeah, well, the thing with painted cabinets that gets me is everyone wants them to be white, but they want them to look off the machine perfect. They expect that to be the same they're gonna look in 15 years, 20 years. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
like, "What you it's still wood. You're putting a coating over wood. Anything
Right. It's
anybody
alive.
touches them, it's gonna mess up." Like, when you do stained wood, you're just small you don't notice the clear coat getting chipped because the wood has been tinted on the inside. I mean, your wood has changed structure, so the color's still
Mm,
original, but, the whole, "Oh,
right.
I want white cabinets," and then when they get chipped, they're bitching at you, and like, wood is missing from the door. It has nothing to
Right.
do with the coating.
The paint is still attached to the chunk of wood that's in the floor.
You're giving me a chunk of wood and with paint on it and telling me that the paint
Right.
came off the door. Oh,
That's really bad adhesion, bro. Fix your paint.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was the thing too. It's still the paint's fault too. Even on the equipment side, it's still always the paint's fault first, which I like now. It
yeah. That
used to
makes
be
it
the
easy
worst.
now that you're on the
Used to
equipment
be the
side.
worst. Yeah,
I
but what's
always
wrong with the paint?
tell people all the time, like when I got onto the manufacturing side of the good, when somebody's like, "Oh, I used Evo primer and your top coat and something's wrong," and then I'd be like, "Man, you just gave
Yeah.
both of us the best out in the world because this is all we're doing."
Yeah. That's the last thing you can do if you want anybody to help you.
Yeah, you want anybody to help you, you better use the same thing all the way through. Don't tell me you use Surf Prep
Yeah.
sandpaper and then this guy's sandpaper and this guy's primer because I'm out. I just got a
Hold them
free
accountable.
ride.
Yep. And tell them the competition's coming in tomorrow to talk to them.
There you go.
It'll be fixed.
All right, we'll jump back in. All right, what's going on, everybody?
All
We
right.
are back. Got refreshed drinks. So let's kind of jump into the equipment side. I know I get a ton of questions, and people are always asking, is it feasible for a small shop? What kind of equipment do you need? Do you have to do the oven? I mean, there's so many things. I mean, you were just saying on the break, so kind of share on that of where the growth that you guys are seeing is not so much in the big guys anymore, right?
No, I mean, it kind of makes sense that like most of the big guys are kind of already automated, right? Uh, I mean, they'll buy new equipment, they'll replace lines, they'll replace parts of lines, but the folks that are doing it for the first time are all the small guys now, and there's a lot of small shops that are starting to see the value in purchasing even just a standalone sprayer. Uh, the ROI is there. If you've got good finishers are hard to find.
Yeah. I
We're
mean,
not
I think
replacing
just,
finishers. We're just making them a machine operator or giving them a little bit cleaner of a task during the day. But yeah, it's hard to find good people, man. And
yeah. I mean, just
and
people
then
in
when
general
you do, they can
being
hold you
good at it.
hostage.
Yes. I mean, but just
Right.
general labor, it's getting really tough. I mean, nobody wants to work. I mean, I was watching a video the other day that was the guy, who was it? Yeah, I mean, it was some famous guy, and he was saying that if we sit down for an interview, what the like three things that will immediately end an interview for me, doesn't matter what level it is within the first 5 minutes. If you ask about pay, you ask about promotion, and you ask about paid time off. It's like, that just tells me you don't want to work. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
he's like, any one of
yeah.
those
What are you
questions in
doing
the
for
first
me?
5 minutes, like it's all about what are you going to pay me? How much time do I get off? When can I get more money? And he's like,
Me.
thanks. Have a nice one.
Dude, I
And I'm
remember
like,
like
that's
you
pretty
know,
good.
07, 08 when the economy crashed, man, it was hard. You couldn't find a job, right? And then it was the exact opposite job market than it is right now, right? You had good qualified people that were trying to find jobs that couldn't. And now it's like, where did everybody go? I don't know, man.
It's weird.
It's wild.
I mean, and I've been
COVID
out
made
of
it
it.
worse too.
That did. I mean, COVID and this weird generation. I've been out of it for a while, but when I had my business, it's been over 5 years, 6 years ago, and interviewing kids that would come in the summertime, hey, just looking for summer work, carry ladders, sweep. And I've had these kids that I'd be like, okay, you know, I mean, like all my helpers would start at 10, and then in 90 days, we would see where you're at 10, and I would bump you to 15. It was my helper rate. And these guys were like, man, I need like 20. I'm like, you,
That's crazy.
you're 16 years old.
Yeah. I don't know you.
Like, you've never picked up a paintbrush in your life and you want $20 an hour? What is going on? Like, this is weird. And I hear it's only just getting worse and worse. Kids coming out of college saying, I need to be making 200 grand a year. You're like, what world are you
Yeah. For
living
what?
in?
Yeah. What are you offered us for that?
It's
Yeah, that's
nuts.
crazy. Yeah. Somebody wants that much money. The ROI on this thing is 6 months, but I mean, it's outrageous, man. And yeah, I mean, but like
I
you said,
think,
the small
yeah,
guys they're all turning to buying some sort of equipment, and most of them they've automated in other parts of the shop, right? They've got routers and things like that. Finishing's always been in the back corner of the room, and it's,
I mean,
but it
finishing's
is the
always been the
bottleneck. So,
redheaded stepchild. I mean, one thing that always got me, and maybe you can hit on this, that was always which I would imagine as if you're a finisher and you're painting cabinets on a finishing shop level, not so much I build cabinets and paint them, but I was just a finisher. So I did cabinets for, I don't know, 15 different companies in town. They would build them and they'd send them to me. That way they didn't have to mess with that redheaded stepchild and have to worry about the warranty. I just did it for them. As a finisher and you're doing multiple different people's shops, I tried the whole standard color thing. That never works. Here's my standard color
mhm.
palette. It's
Yep.
$500 more for custom. They'd always pay $500 more for custom. And I could have sprayed it in the package white, and I don't think they ever would have noticed the difference. Like, what is the what is the I think a lot of painters get stuck in the color change world. If you're to go to like a flat line, a small flat line without even oven, I just need something that's going to put the coating on. I'm going to put the doors in. I'm going to take them off, and I'm going to rack them
Mhm.
and let them air dry because it all dries pretty fast anyways. Like, how do you get over that hurdle to these small guys? What would you say to those guys that are worried about all the different color changes?
Oh man, we automate it and we make it super simple. I mean, we can put a, multicolor color change on as many circuits as we want. But I mean, even for the small guys, what works the best 95% of the time seems to be just our smallest sprayer. It's our Mini Plus. It's a one arm sprayer. Max speed is 3 meters a minute. But what we do is we sell it with what we call a 3+1 pump package. And we do everything in house turnkey here as far as the fluid delivery systems and all that. Like to kind of own it to the end, but we can get into that later. But what the 3+1 does is you've got 3 pumps that are dedicated to product that are all loaded, ready to go. And then you've got your flush pump. Um, and what that does is you can just tell the recipe, okay, go from color 1 to color 2. You hit enter, it turns a valve, it sprays out whatever product 1 is that's in the guns with water or solvent. And then it sprays product 2 through and pushes the water or solvent out. So all automated, touch of a button. You just need to put the paint on the pumps and it'll do the
So a
color
guy
changes
that
for
was
you. So,
that's considering it, if you had a 3+1, for instance, that would mean, okay, you've got your primer preloaded because you're always running primer through because that's just wham bam. You can just cook that out. And then you could have like a pigmented line.
mhm.
And then could you still throw in a clear line? So you could have your clear could probably run your stain as well because that comes out fairly easily. So you could run stain and clear in one, and then all your solid colors through your second one, and then your primer through your first one.
Yep, that's a pretty standard setup. People do that. Some people do all pigmented in one, all clear in one, all stain in one. And then if you have, more colors than that, if you want to have, say, 10 colors ready, right? You say you just blow through stains and you're going back and forth, and we just need to have more than that. We can put a color change system on one of those circuits, and then you're just selecting, which color you want. It's activating the valve that's plumbed to that pump, but everything's automated. So just in the recipe,
Okay,
you tell it
so
color 1, color 2, and it does it itself.
in that is that in still in the three heads, or could you have like head two? There's a valve that has three colors in it. You tell it which color, but it's still coming out of head two.
Yeah, I mean, we've got them out there that have. I mean, typically the folks that are doing this are needing a little bit more production. So most of the time, the big color change systems aren't on a mini; they're on a compact or a Magnum. But it can
Okay.
be. But we've got them out there. We've got a cabinet company in California that's got a 40 color change system, right? So they've got 40 pumps, and they're all plumbed to the same machine. All plumbed to the same mixer. And that's another thing too is the plural component mixing. We can get into that too.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Plural
But yeah, I
component
mean, so
mixing
yeah,
is huge.
yeah. I mean, that seems to have gotten the technology behind that's gotten better recently. Is that the case? I mean, because you heard about it years ago, but it
Hmm.
seems to be getting more common. Is that because of more plural component products and people are getting out of the lacquer, or is that the technology
Yeah,
behind it?
I mean, yeah, and then they're also just it probably goes back to labor again, man. I mean, finding good people to paint, also finding good people to catalyze paint properly, not over catalyze it, under catalyze it, forget to
Yeah.
catalyze it. And then also it's people are more conscious on their usage, right? They're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to spray a quart and I'm catalyzing a gallon and I'm wasting 3 quarts, right? We're doing it on demand, right? At point of use. So we're only catalyzing what we need to at point of use.
Yeah. I think if I remember right, somebody once told me is you have, I mean, the plural component mixes it in like a very small space. So your wastage is a lot less. Cause I mean, if you ever need to switch it out, you have, not even a quarter pint of actually pluralized product that you can just dispense of and throw it away and then you're done, or let it harden, whatever you want to do. It's not even a pint or a
Yeah.
quart. I mean, it's
So much less waste, and then accurate metering and mixing too. So it's going to be, if it's 10%, it's going to be 10.00 all the time, right? It's not going to vary. We can also do third component, right? So if we're needing to add a retarder in, if we need a summer or winter blend or whatever it may be, we can introduce that in at whatever percentage we want.
just add another.
So it's
So it's
nice.
like, it's the same, your growth capabilities into something like if you have the Mini Plus, it's not just, all right, you've got 3 colors and a flush and that's it. You're out. Like, it's
No.
expandable. I mean, from there,
It's all modular. We keep that in mind when doing everything. Everything's modular here, so we can grow into it, right? You can add pumps, you can add, you can add color change valves, we can add plural component mixing later, we can add ovens later. It's all modular. So like the guy that was in here yesterday, he was looking at a sprayer and an oven and a sander, but he's probably going to hold off on the oven for now. But he's definitely wants to get it later, but he doesn't have the space. But he's going to be moving. So long story short, it's like, no, it's all modular. Get the sprayer for now, and then when you get the space, we'll throw the oven.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the next one. Like, and what I found out when I started digging into it, you don't have to have the oven. It's not a necessary item. If you have an area where your stuff dries, you can just get a sprayer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can, and you load that belt up. You would be amazed at how hard a person works offloading parts at 3 meters a minute. If you load the belt densely and efficiently, those parts come, it looks slow, and then as soon as the part's coming off, you're going to work that guy to death. So
I've heard
still a lot of production running that slow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it was Scott when I first got to meet him over Harley. They had a flat line. They didn't have any oven, anything like that. They just had a flat line. And then I remember it wasn't long after he got that, he was like, I mean, he's like, this is fantastic, but the only thing I recommend and tell people now is to add yourself a good 4 feet at the front and 4 to 8 feet at the back of just belt. So you don't have to have like 2 people pulling stuff off, because it comes off so fast and you don't realize it.
Parts will start falling on the floor immediately.
And you look at that thing going and you're like, it's going to be so slow. And you're like, nope.
Yeah. Well, I tell people in the lab, because half the time we're running one part at a time, right? One at a time. It's like, okay, at some point I'm like, all right, I'm going to load this thing up so you get a good idea of what production is going to look like. Because they're like, it's slow. This is slower than I thought it would be. Just wait, you'll see where we get those production numbers at when we start loading it up. So,
do you want your brand in front of the people who actually move product? Painters, finishers, and manufacturers? The Bearded Finisher podcast has pulled in over 75,000 downloads and reaches across the entire finishing supply chain, from job site to manufacturing. From single episode sponsorships to social media promotion, we offer flexible options that get your brand noticed. Real reach, real results. Visit thebeardedfinisher.com and let's get your brand front and center.
I know I talked about it a little bit when I was at the show, but I kind of want to hit on it again because I think it's something super important, and to get as many eyes and ears hearing this is every time machines come up in the world, flatline machines come up in the world of finishers, it's like a Ford, Chevy, Ram debate that I don't know. It all might even go to like flat earthers versus round earth people when it comes to paper or no paper. I mean, it gets, I mean, I've seen people like mad and cussing each other in comments when it comes to talking about machines with paper and how dumb they are and how then it's like the only way to go is with paper. So like pros and cons of both. Let's hear your opinion.
Yeah, dude. Pros for paper. Quicker cleanup, You don't have the recovery unit or the cleaning unit underneath that you have to clean out at the end of the day. So less less labor, right? So you think cleaning that out at the end of the day is a good half hour worth of work, right? Loading it up in the morning is probably 10, 15 minutes if you're taking your time to do it. So if you think that's an extra close to an hour worth of labor, you're paying somebody every day to load the thing up. And then you're also paying, if it's solvent, you're paying for the solvent to go in that cleaning trough, right? So that could be 10, 15, 20 gallons a day, depending on how fast of a solvent you use, right? Somebody throws acetone under there, it's going to be a drum, right? So yeah, so there you got that, and then you have the waste at the end of the day that you're now paying to be hauled off, right? You got liquid waste at the end of the day. So for paper, that's a huge plus because in most states you can take that waste paper roll and throw it in the dumpster,
Yeah,
right?
as long as it's
It
dry.
doesn't become solid hazardous waste, right? So most folks are doing that. That's paper's just
So
it's expensive though, right? So you're going to pay for the paper as well. So there are
exactly. So I was kind of
pros and
hitting at,
cons
like,
on the cost.
with the research system that goes in there, what's a ballpark cost for a research system to go in a Mini Plus or something like that?
Well, on the Mini, we don't have the belt cleaner. All we have is paper only.
Okay. It's paper
When you move,
only.
yep. And when you move up to the compact, we have you can get a compact paper, you can get a compact recovery, or you can get a hybrid that has both. So that's kind of nice because some folks will be running the same stuff over and over, right? They're running a white primer that they want to recover, and then okay, now we got to spray some stain. We don't want to ruin all this white primer in the cleaning unit. You just bolt up the paper, spray your little short run, cut it off, go back to your recovery unit.
Now, could you, and I don't want to take this away from anything, so I don't, this is because you said the paper's kind of expensive. And that's one of the things that people said, but like, do you have to order the paper from you guys, or if you know the specs on the paper, can you have like a cardboard company make it for you? Let's say they'll do it cheaper because they're local. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Sure, yeah, and we will give you the 3 or 4 manufacturers that we know of right off the bat. Like we stock it, we keep it. If you want to buy it from us, you can, but you're gonna probably pay a little bit extra because we are the middleman in that scenario. So we will give you the manufacturer, and you can just go straight to the source and buy it from them. We don't mind that at all. Kind of prefer it really. But we do keep it in stock if people need it in a pinch. We'll send out several rolls, kind of like a starter pack for customers to get them started. But man, I mean, for me, somebody that uses them all the time, I would go paper if I can. Once your
That's good.
production numbers get to where you're gonna go through 2 rolls of paper a day, right? And then you just can't justify the cost of the paper. It's it's cleaner, it's man labor, it's cleaning the cleaning unit out at the end of the day is the worst job in the finishing room. So folks don't want to do it, and they don't want to do it for long. Just to be honest with you. So your operators are going to be happier running a paper machine. So if the cost can be justified, I like to run paper machines if I can. Now, not like our Magnum. When we get into real high production, we don't even make a paper for Magnum. We do on special occasions, but our main Magnum unit is all belt recovery.
I mean, you're getting into a unit
speeds.
there that's just doing nothing but flipping out primer 8 hours a day.
Yeah, you're moving.
Yeah, you're moving some big pieces.
At least 6 meters a minute, but usually 8, 10.
That's fast. That seems really fast. Can you do a unit? I had a cabinet company come to me one time, and I was talking to them on the manufacturing side of coatings, and they were wanting to do a completely, I don't know if you'd call it closed system.
Mm-hmm.
That would, you would set it here, it would go through, get coated, do your flash, do your oven, and go on a conveyor, make a U-turn. On the U-turn, it would hit a scuff sander, and then it would get blown off, make another U-turn, and go right back into the system for second coat.
Yeah, we got a lot of those out there. We call them closed loop lines.
Closed loop, okay.
Typically on those cross transfers too, we'll have a flipper. So we're flipping the parts as well. So we're doing both sides.
It
So
flips it?
Oh yeah, dude. So say it's 3 coats on each side, like 2 primers, 1 top coat, whatever it is. So that's 6 passes. We also monitor it from what we call our line supervisor. So we're monitoring all these different machines from one like main control hub. They can all be operated independently, but on that control panel, it basically tells us what each part is and where it is in the process. So I can go, okay, these are on coat number 3, these are on coat number 6, about to come off. and it keeps track of it. And when they're done, those go out, they exit. The ones that need to continue going around, they keep going around and
There's
until
like
the whole
one
thing's
of the
done.
arms things that'll be like, oh, these are done, and slide them over this way.
Yep.
So
Or
you
it'll
could
cross
do,
transfer them off to the offloading area. Yeah.
so you could essentially do a completely closed loop system that would, if you had enough heads on there, would do 2 primer on each side and then 2 top on each side, and it would sort them as it finishes.
Sand them.
Does
Yep.
sand them and everything.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
that would be pretty. Do you guys have anything like that there in the showroom?
No, everything in the showroom is pretty much modular. We have one small like linear line that's hooked to the Magnum. We have a laminar oven and then a jet air blade oven and then a UV behind it. But we have to test so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
We're kind of like bouncing from machine to machine to kind of mimic what they're
That
doing.
would be pretty
But
cool.
yeah,
to
those are
see.
cool, man.
That would be cool. A
Yeah.
completely closed loop system. I mean, I know you're talking like, now I'm just like, you're on that dreaming level of those cabinet companies like Craft Made that are kicking out hundreds of kitchens a day. I mean,
Yep.
but still, that's
Yeah,
pretty
those are
impressive that you
fun to see.
could start with a mini, essentially a mini plus, and
Mhm.
depending on how your business scale, you can add it as you go.
Yeah, and we can complicate it as much as you want, right? I mean, we can add as much as you want, but then it's also, like you said, I mean, it's a lot of these small guys just buying minis, but
Yeah.
we'll see if we can get you in one of those closed loop lines one day and let you check it out. It is crazy. That's
That
the
would
cool
be
thing
awesome.
about coming here is because like being locally, right? I dealt with my local guys, but now I
Yeah.
can go into a lot of these like massive plants that I never would have had a chance to go into before and see some of this stuff. It's just mind blowing. And seeing other things in their operations too that's like not even related to finishing, seeing how they do things.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
wild.
really, I think
Cool
to me,
stuff
that's
out
some of
there.
the fun stuff.
Stuff I don't
mean,
even understand, man.
Yeah, the ingenuity that people come up with, you're like, golly, that is genius. How did I not think of doing something like that? I mean, these guys are just, I mean, there's some smart people out there. Let's circle it up. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got stuff to do, but
Oh, you're good, man.
what about a shop footprint? Like what power wise, if we're just talking about a mini plus where they just want something to spray and primer, they're going to pay someone to pull it on and off. Like what kind of footprint in the shop do they need and what kind of power do they need for something like that?
I mean, footprint, I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, 15 by 15 or so for a mini to have pumps and guns and everything kind of laid out. But for power, I mean, you're looking at 3-phase 480,
Yeah.
nothing crazy. And then you'd need an airdrop, and then you'd need, roof penetration for exhaust. So, but what we do too is on our installation drawings, our engineers have all that marked where, right, if your machine goes here in your building, we're going to need air here. We're going to need this much power here, that kind of thing. That way all
And
your
can you
trades can
get
have one
these,
document that they can all look at.
can you get these units into smaller spaces? I mean, you have some that are big warehouse with warehouse doors, but if you've got a smaller shop that maybe has an 8 or a 10-foot garage door, like what's the smallest space height clearance wise that you could get the small unit, the entry level?
You know what?
unit
That's a
into?
good question. Probably 10 feet. It's a good question. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but right about 10 feet. I wish I would have gotten that answer because we got one customer that they've pushed it and they've got about half an inch on the top of their ceiling for a mini plus. But whatever that height is the bare minimum. And the picture,
And that's with the exhaust and everything.
Yeah, it looks like it's wild when you look at the picture, but can't say
That's
an
pretty good.
exact
I mean,
number.
that way you don't have to be in a massive shop, giant building. I mean, you got to have room for it. So, but I think
No,
most guys, if
there-
you're doing that, you're going to have a 10-foot door somewhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all these machines fit on a box truck. So they're all coming out of a container. So if it can fit on a container, if it can fit in your room, it's fitting on a container.
There you go. We need to that would be really cool to see, to someone that would take a container and like turn it into the finishing system that was exhausted out.
Lord, yeah.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Like you
standalone.
go into like built into the container. You just drop it and hook up the power. The exhaust is there, and it's just
so
like
you got a little oven
tile.
at the back. It goes all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, who needs
it
a
could be
shop?
like,
Dude, that's what.
Exactly. You just, you see some of those big truck ones like that. Like you see big paint booths for truck shops, and basically they just drop it at a place that does 18-wheeler work, and you just drive in and drive out. It's almost like everything's
That's a great
contained.
idea. Yeah, man.
You guys should be genius for the finishing world.
Yep, just plop it right outside their building.
Yeah.
They don't need a
Plop
building.
it there, hook up the power, and it's all in there, bolted. You just drop the container, and it's ready to go to work.
I like it, man.
I mean, that's a whole nother
cool.
marketing.
Good idea.
We're gonna catch some slack for that one. Somebody's gonna be like, now
Yeah, you
everyone's
cut
gonna
that
want us
part
to
out.
do
Me
one.
and you're gonna go into business.
Man, well, so like I said, I know we're getting in on that hour. I think we could go down 100 different rabbit holes, but what would realistically, in your experience, I know there's a range because you've got power and stuff like that, but assuming, realistic cost of entry, are we talking, 200 plus, under 200, something like, I mean, for a mini beginner guy, and I know you're going to have some other stuff, and it's hard to hit the nail on the head, but
Yeah,
what do you think?
you're gonna be more in the 150 to 200 range,
Okay.
depending on how many pumps you buy and how many guns you buy. I mean, pumps these days
And that
are
really doesn't
10,
seem that
15
bad,
grand a
because if
piece.
you're paying a good finisher $60K a year,
Yeah, that's 2-year
I
ROI.
mean,
If you're paying 2 guys
that's,
that, I mean,
yeah.
you're looking at maybe
And
one.
it never calls in sick, and it never doesn't show up.
Right. Yeah, you're not paying benefits because what, another 50% on top of their
Yeah.
wage. So
Well,
yeah, I
SAM
mean,
taxes, then it becomes actually a tax benefit because you can write it off, but depreciate it.
yeah, and I think I saw something just got passed too by the administration saying I think they upped the amount that you can write off.
You
It's
can
like, I don't
depreciate it
remember
each
what
year
it
on
is,
equipment.
but
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. I haven't noticed that, but they're doing all kinds
Yeah,
of
it was
stuff.
like
It's hard to
100.
even
It was
keep
like
up.
100 and now $500,000 or something. I can't remember what it is, but it was a substantial jump.
That's awesome. I mean, that cost of entry just seems, I mean, when you start to think about everything included in an employee, that's really not bad. And so obviously you're not going to have many shops that have got 100, especially small 2-3 man shops that got 150 to 200K sitting around. Do you guys work with small SBA banks that you can refer guys to that are looking for financing? Do you guys do financing? I mean,
Yeah, it's through a third party, but almost everybody finances, right? Hardly ever does anybody just flat out pay cash for these things. So, I mean, there's absolutely financing. And then when you see the numbers, depending on what you buy, it's always a shock to people how cheap those payments are. So,
yeah. I mean, 'cause if
so
you get a good
little cheaper than
SBA
you
loan
think.
for growing and you get it on a, 20-year note, even at 10%, you're not really talking about, I mean, yes, it's a substantial amount of money. I'm not saying 150, 200 grand is nothing, people, but at the same time,
Right. But in this
the
world,
ROI that you're getting on that and the tax benefits that you can, tax advantages, I guess, because of depreciation that you can get, I'm like, man, that's really not bad. I can't believe more people aren't doing it. It's got to just be lack of
yeah,
knowledge.
right. It seems like a no brainer. It really does. And I
Yeah.
mean, and they do a good job. And it keeps everything cleaner. It's a more clean operation. A lot of folks that, less shoulder injuries, right? They're just pushing a button as opposed to doing this all day long.
Yep. Less, spilling paint in the middle of the floor or, just about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, finishing's always been the bottleneck. And there's really like 3 bottlenecks in finishing. It's sanding, it's spraying, and then it's drying. So a lot of times what I'll tell people is if you're going to start, like if you can get some sort of a sander, great. But if not, it's great to if you could get a sprayer and then you could get a basic flash oven. Like our laminar flash oven is perfect. You get a 5.5 meter or 7.5 meter and put it behind a mini and give you 4 to 6 minutes, however, fast you're running. And a lot of times that's just enough time and flash off to get the product dust free, print free. Cause a lot of times small shops, sanding's right over here next to where the spray machine is, right? So you're unloading parts, you're putting them on a rack, and then all the trash is getting in the finish.
So if you were doing like
speed that up,
what's a ballpark if you were to add a unit like that? Another 100K or another 50?
70.
Okay. So another 70K to add the oven. And I always used to tell guys, like, if you're going to go with automated sanding, like first start with automate your spraying. And then we had a room that was all positive air controlled, so it didn't have any, and I would roll the racks into there when they would do it, and then a denibber, like just something to just give you a light scuff on your primer, and then just go right back into the oven. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, nice little brush sander.
Yeah, yeah, a little
You're
brush
still
sander.
gonna
You don't
have
have to
people
get
touching
crazy.
the edge. You're gonna have people hitting the edges. You're gonna have people, getting down inside the shaker door, right inside the profiles. But
Exactly.
then that
Yeah,
brush sander's gonna get 85% of it, right? So,
that's
yeah, I
not
saw
bad. I mean,
a lot of cobots doing a lot of, like little orbital hand sanding. I swear I
yes.
saw like twice as many this year at the show than last year.
Did you see Surf Preps?
Yeah,
That
that's pretty
thing, I
slick.
was talking to Denny about that, and it did something that I didn't even know, and I was impressed. It's got some sort of AI built into it, and that's got people all
Mhm.
spun up into a tizzy that has AI. But Denny was telling me when he was like, "Okay, that's impressive," was the AI, that camera that's in it. Like, you don't have to. You just put the doors in any direction, and then you set them on there, and it sees it, and then it knows the pattern to sand it in. But it had a 3x4 and a 5-inch round. So it would do the corners with the 3x4, and then the sander would switch to the round. But in the middle of that, one of the guys, somebody walked over and picked the door up and moved it.
Nice.
And it recalculated perfectly. When it switched that sander, it saw that the door was moved and still
That's
sanded
cool.
it perfectly. And I was like, that's when Denny was like, that's when I looked at that and I was like, damn, that's good.
Well, that's always been the thing. It's like, all right, take the door, put it in the exact same place, and then this sander is going to take 3 minutes to sand a door, and it's just like, this is
Yeah.
not feasible. But like that, I mean, if it's not, it's not that critical where you're placing it, and it can kind of
Yeah.
readjust itself. That's sick.
It's not, and you could add a door. If in the middle of it sanding one, you could throw another door up there in no particular order, and it would see it. And after it finished that one, it'd go over and sand that one. Which is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It was and it was just sitting in the middle of the floor. So it wasn't like it wasn't hooked up to a big computer or anything like that. It was on like a little,
Right.
I don't know, essentially a downdraft table, like a baby downdraft table. AI is
Pretty
gonna
sweet.
go crazy. Do you guys have much AI incorporated into any of the finishing yet?
Yeah, we're working on it. There's some things in the works that they're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of AI stuff on like our service side. Honestly, man, that's what's really cool is a lot of like automated ticketing systems and things where folks can go online and just say what their problem is, and it sends a ticket to like 5 different people in our service department. Just a lot of cool bells and whistles that I'm not even aware of on that end, as far as just
Yeah.
kind of keeping contact with people and, just things that help the customer out too. So a lot of tutorial things, a lot of like you can go on website and search and find a bunch of videos and stuff. But yeah, I will touch on that. Our service department is, I think, man, the one thing that sets us apart. I mean, we got a lot. Equipment's one thing, but really it's who you're dealing with and who you're gonna, who's installing the machines, who's picking
Mhm.
up the phone when something breaks, who's coming out there to fix it when it breaks. Mm, when you need spare parts, who you got to talk to when you get on the phone. And we got a great group of people here that are just good, down to earth people that are, good to talk to when you have a problem, right? The worst thing is having a
Yeah.
problem and calling somebody. To that point, we got that ticketing system, but you could do that and then you don't hear from anybody right away. You probably feel like you're not
Yeah.
heard. So we have a guy named Jacob Sloop. He's a great dude. He literally, his main job is to take phone calls. He's our first point of contact. So anybody that has an issue, call Jacob. So there's a million people in this country that know, I call Jacob. I just call Jacob. And then he can delegate where it goes. And we've
Based
got
on the
just a
issue,
great
say,
group of
oh, it needs
people.
to go. He divvies it up to the right guy.
And then our people here,
That's
man, they're
good.
great. Yeah,
I
I'll give a
mean,
shout out to Dylan. We got Paige, we got Gabe, we got Tommy Harris. Our whole service department's just killer, man. So
that's awesome.
those guys
Do you
are really
guys have
what set us apart.
contracted, like independent guys? Like if somebody's in, let's say California, and they've got an issue, are all your tech guys that if something's, let's say, not working, it needs service or something like that? Do you guys do third party techs, or are they all W-2 and they just travel?
No, man, everybody works for us and they're finishing specific
awesome.
techs. So it's kind of different from a lot of our competitors too. Like our guys ain't working on edge banders and other things like that. They're our
Yeah.
equipment. They're finishing specific. They have application knowledge. And yeah, then we got guys that are kind of all over. We got a guy in Las Vegas. We got a guy in Wisconsin. in Toronto. So, and then
Yeah.
a core
Just
group of
based on
guys
where
that are
you're
here in North
based
Carolina, but
on
they're all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of based on where the equipment is and where your biggest OEMs are, where you can stick a guy, he works for Superfici and goes out and services, kind of like an account manager, but more of the technical side.
Right, and those guys are mostly on the road. I think they're gone 3 weeks at a time and then home 1 week, and so that's kind of the setup that we've got. But,
That's pretty
if
good
it's
though.
in a
That
certain area, that guy can kinda manage that area, right? And they can
Yeah,
get to know him, and if it's 3 hours from his house, right, he can just drive there tomorrow as opposed to us having to put a guy on a plane and figure out logistics, so
yeah,
it's
that's
it's
awesome.
working out well.
That's good. And then give us just a little bit of I don't want to say back history, but just a little bit of knowledge so people can and understand Superfici a little better real quick. Just kind of let us know, I know they're not based in the US, but where they're based out of, ownership, how's that all structured?
Yeah, so Superfici, Italy, was a company that was called LMAG, was the parent company for a while. They started, I think, in 1947. Then, so Superfici Italy's been around for a long time. We're coming up here at Superfici America on our 20th year. This is actually our 20th year. So they
Whoa,
started this
congrats.
division. Thanks, man. Yeah, so they started this in '05 uh, as kind of the North American division of Superfici, distribution, sales, all that's for the North American market. But yeah, everything's manufactured in Italy and brought over here, and then our North American headquarters is here in Concord. But yeah, been around for a long time. I think we started making ovens years ago before we made spray machines, and
Spray
then they
machines.
started making spray machines, and then started making other things.
How big is the US division and how many people do you employ?
In the
Any idea?
U.S., shoot, probably 20, 30.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a lot
Yeah,
of
and then
coverage
we
for
also
25 to 30 people.
yeah, but then we also fall under the SCM Group as our parent company, right? So we're our own entity aside from
Mhm.
SCM, but we are owned by SCM, but we're kind of the finishing wing, and we, yeah, kind of set apart. So we've got our own techs, we got our own service, have our own lab, kind of
Yeah.
our own
I mean,
deal.
SEM is essentially anymore, they're just like a PE that owns a bunch of like a conglomerate, like a parent company.
Getting there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a ton of stuff now, but that's
So they came in and
when did you
scooped
guys
us up
go?
a while back.
I was gonna say, when did they
That's a good question. It was shortly before I started,
okay,
but yeah, ever since I've been here, we've been under the SCM umbrella.
that's nice, that's
But
awesome.
it's good because we can
Well,
get some pull in some ways, right, when we need it.
yeah, I mean, that's gotta be good when you need that bigger help, you have someone or whether it's like an investment, like expanding, or things like that, it's nice to have that kind of backup, and I bet you kinda
For
have a
sure.
backdoor connection to some of the other SCM companies, which always has its benefits when you have that collaboration
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, and it definitely helps, right? The guy that's in there selling them an edge bander finds out he's looking at finishing equipment, so then he sends them our way for
Yeah.
that.
Nice, nice. Well, a couple questions and we'll wrap it up here, man. I don't want to keep too much longer. I mean,
Alright, man.
I think we could like
All
what
good.
would I think would be fun, and we can talk about it offline, is to down the road maybe do if we can arrange an on-site there and
Yeah,
maybe
man.
kind of go all in on a mini and just kind of here's what it looks like running, you know, and kind of dig into it. I think that would be a fun
Yeah.
segment to
No, that'd be
do,
cool.
like an on-site running.
Dude, that'd be
So,
really cool.
and
Yeah.
then
No, we'd love
show
to
off
have you
some of
here,
the cool
man, and we
stuff
could
there.
yeah, we'll show off our stuff. We can, yeah, do, like, some tutorials, some basic stuff, some, start from the ground up from somebody that might not have a clue, what it even looks like, and then we could get more advanced as we go or yeah, well, however you wanna do it, that'd be awesome. Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I think that'd be fun. So one thing I always like to ask people is based on where you're at in your career, and you get a lot of entrepreneurs, and the answers have always been interesting to me. Was first question: Brett today runs a 19-year-old Brett having lunch.
Man,
What's top advice you would give your 19-year-old self now?
man, I don't know, man. That's tough. Just keep your head down, work hard, and don't listen to what any of the naysayers say because there's been a couple people in my career that have sparked doubt, I guess, like made me feel like I wasn't either smart enough or good enough or worthy of
Yeah.
a certain
Yeah.
position or something. And you kind of let that creep into your head. You can let doubt creep into your head, start to let it affect you, and you start to believe you are that person. So I've gotten over that now, and it's kind of like, but it's something I think I struggled with early on.
I mean, that's a good
So,
point.
but yeah,
Yeah.
just
I
don't
mean,
listen. Just keep people out of your head. And now looking back, maybe that guy, maybe he was threatened. Maybe it was, you don't know what it was. Maybe he's had something bad going on at home and he just took it out on me and it had nothing to do with me
yeah.
personally. But it's, just
I
don't
mean,
take
that's
things
easy to
personal.
internalize that. Yeah. That's a good
Right.
one.
There's
Don't take stuff
always somebody
personal.
everywhere that's going to
Yep.
be a jerk.
Yep. I mean, I tell my customers when they're talking about, I'm trying to grow, just, at some point you just get tired of the no's. I'm not interested. No, I don't want to pay my house.
Mm.
No, you're too expensive. And I'm just like, somebody once told me what if I told you at the end of 1,000 no's, there's a yes?
Yeah. You just got to get through them. Right.
You just got to get them the flip out of the way. Just go get all those no's as fast as you can until you get that
Like a
yes. And once you get that
1,000
yes,
boxes
man,
you got to check.
yep.
Oh,
Then
that's
who
great. I
cares?
love that, man. That's a good way to
Yeah.
look at it. Yep.
Yeah. You just
The
got to get through the
breakthrough's right
no's
around the other side.
and you're good. And
That's
then
awesome, man. I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Brett, outside of work, give us a passion that doesn't have to do with painting, something that you like to do that might surprise us.
I love hanging out with my family. My wife Gina. I got a 9-year-old son James. I got a 3-year-old son AJ. James is playing baseball right now, so I like to do that. Go to baseball practices and all that.
Nice.
Just hanging out with family. Like to fish.
Fishing.
Something
Yeah.
nobody. I play drums. People don't know that about me. I've been playing drums my
Really?
whole life. So yeah, been doing that since I was probably 8 years old.
Band or, just kind of.
Yeah, man. I've been in a bunch of bands. I played in high school, I was in a band, and then I've played in cover bands. I've been in punk bands. I've
That's
been in
pretty
country
awesome.
bands, and now I just play at church. So
That's pretty awesome, man. That's cool.
yeah, man. Yep.
Oh, I've always wanted to learn how to play an instrument, but never had the patience nor the discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I did it when I was little because now there's no way. Like I've tried to learn the guitar, and it's just like I don't have time. I don't have patience.
Yeah.
It's like I
I'm
feel
getting
guilty.
ready.
It's
My
like I got
son,
responsibilities, and I'm strumming a guitar. It's like, what are you doing with your life? Get it together, man.
my son's 8 and he's starting to ask
Nice.
about football. And I'm just going, there goes our life. Here it comes. I'm
Yep.
about to join that world.
Yep.
We've tried to push sports out mostly selfish reasons. One, he's not the most coordinated, but I want him to play sports, but I still like having my weekends. And now I know once that starts, it's over.
Yeah, that's every Saturday and at least like one day during the week. Like for us, it's Wednesday. So today's Thursday. So last night it was practice until 9:00 at night. It's like on a school night. It's like his bedtime's 8:30 and he's practiced till 9.
That's
a commitment.
And just how times have changed. I mean, I played from 1st grade to 6th grade was flag football. And in 7th grade, you could go to tackle. That's how it was where I grew up in Oklahoma. Played flag football all the way. And then my mom thought it was too dangerous. So she thought wrestling was safer. Go figure.
Nice.
But practice was Wednesday nights, I think. And I would ride my bike to practice, or your parents would drop you off and you were like tucking and rolling. Get out of the car. I'll be back in an hour and a half.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like, you don't sit here and watch your kid play? And I'm like,
dude, I know.
This is my time.
I know. They take it so serious. Right. And I say that, but then last night, I'm the guy at just a practice videoing my son batting. Like, all right, we're going to work on some fundamentals when we get home, You stepping out. We can't tolerate that. We're not stepping out in this family.
I can't. I'm like, and that's the one where I'm like, it gets a little too crazy for me. Like, you get back to the days where I can just drop them off to practice and I can go have fun for an hour. Okay. But everyone's like,
yeah,
my dad just dropped his kids off. He doesn't care. I'm like, dang it.
Right. Yeah. What a horrible father. Yeah. Meanwhile, you rode your bike to practice.
Yeah. I mean, I used to,
I rode home in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, it was like maybe a mile from my house. And I mean, it was probably 4th grade where it was like, coach knows you're coming. I know where you're going. If you don't show up, he'll call me, but get on your bike and bicycle your butt.
Yeah, I think we were the last ones. We were the last ones, man. I think it's like the generation right after us. It was like everybody got coddled and
Yeah.
you couldn't do that. But yeah, man, we would just go and come
Yeah.
back when it got dark.
I mean, my son, we do that now because we live full time in a motorhome, and um, at a campground here, it's really great. They're very secure. They have security, 24 hours, gates, and all that stuff. But people just think I'm crazy because my son's 8, and I'm like, when the lights come on, you need to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just you're at the campground, riding your bike, playing with all the friends, go have fun. Just be home by the time the lights come on. And then people will be like, "Where's your kid?" And I don't know, he's somewhere. And they're like, "What? What?" And I'm like, "That's how I was growing up. You just had to be home when the lights come
Right.
on." And I think I've turned out okay. I think he'll be fine.
Now all of a sudden this is crazy 20, 30 years later. It's like, come on, that's how it was forever. Maybe you're the crazy one.
A couple times it's bringing my kid back, and they're like, "Oh, he's just out walking around." And I'm like, "He's a kid."
Yeah. Was he breaking anything or like doing
No,
anything
he was just
wrong? Or
walking to the park, and I told him he got to go home. And I'm like, "If he's smashing a
Yeah.
window, okay." But it's different times. It's
he's in
different
a
times.
park
We're
at a
those-
campground. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in that old school parent world where we're, rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine.
Yep. Yep. The good old
Well,
days.
man, I know, the good old days. I'll let you get off here. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Definitely want to circle back to that conversation maybe soon. Getting out there and doing something with the unit so people can see it, doing some maybe like a longer YouTube only video. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We would
If
love
you
to have
guys
you.
want to check out Superfici and Bret in particular, I'll throw his stuff in the socials and Superfici, all their links down there in the show notes so you guys can go check out the equipment. And if you're thinking about getting one, I just urge you, reach out to them. Even if you're a year out, just reach out to them, start the conversations. Because one thing I've learned about you guys is it has to make sense. Like, you're not as afraid to say, "Hey, it just doesn't make sense for your situation to do this.
Yeah.
You could try this." Whereas a lot of companies don't. Superfici is really good about, it needs to be a great experience across the board. If it's not going to make sense and it's going to make a miserable experience for the end user, you guys aren't going to recommend it.
Yep. And that's why the lab's here. They bring their stuff, they bring their products, and we just do exactly what they're used to doing. And we compare apples to apples, and we,
That's awesome. That's
figure it
awesome.
out together, man.
Make sure you guys are like these episodes. It really helps me out. Make sure you're following us for the updates. We've got some more videos coming out soon, and man, we'll see you guys next week. Bret, thank you again.
Hey, man, thank you for everything you do. You do a great job. So keep carrying the torch
Thank
for
you.
us, dude.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you. I'll keep running with it. Torch in one hand, scissors
dude.
in the other. We'll see everybody next week.
Don't fall on both of them.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Bearded Finisher Podcast. We thank everyone for joining. Keep hustling, keep learning, and never settle for anything less than your best. Remember, the path to perfection is a journey, not a destination. Until next time.